Now let's discuss the resume building and mechanics process. To your right, there is the example out of your textbook for a complete resume. And generally speaking, I think this is a great resume. The layout looks great. It looks very clean. There's nothing too fancy going on. I think this is in the book for a reason, basically. Your book also talks about the difference between generic versus customized resume. And what it's saying is that we should have a generic resume that can be adapted to fit different job applications, which then it would be customized. It would be a customized resume for a specific position. There's a specific organization of your resume, and it differs too, especially depending on the job call. And I say job call and job listing interchangeably. So if you, for example, if the job call asks you or says preferred qualities, work experience in X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, then you might put your work history above everything else. But you want to put your summary or your objective first after your contact information, but you might organize it based on the job call itself. So as you were doing your assignment one and talking about the entry-level job, you might just look up a job call or a job listing that is what that job is, or if you can find something like it. And your objective and summary, a lot of the time you'll have like a 1 or 2 sentence little summary or objective before these qualifications. And a lot of the time, this summary of qualifications might be lumped into some skills that will be on the bottom. And again, it kind of just depends on what you're trying to do. But a lot of the time, there will be an objective statement up at the top. Your objective is to grow as an independent scholar teacher in the communication discipline at this company or university, for example. And then you also want to make sure that you have your education listed. And usually this is chronological. So if you want to put your high school education on there, you can, but it needs to be from latest, or I guess most recent to least recent. And that goes for your employment and work experience as well. So you want to start with the most recent and end with the least recent. You also want to make a place for your skills if you have room. That's the other thing. If you have a lot of work experience, or if you have a lot of like summary of qualification or education, then you start to run out of room. You also want to list your duties and stuff under your work experience so that they know what you've done before and that what you were expected to do. If you have room also, you would put any kind of awards that you might have received, or any kind of student organizations or other organizations that you might have been a part of. And those are like not paid positions. That's more like a service that you've done for these different organizations. You don't want to put your references directly on your resume. You want to, if you want to say anything about references, this little bit at the bottom, that references available upon request, would be a great place to do that. But don't actually list your references on the document. Another thing, and this is sometimes tricky, you want just enough white space. And what I say by white space is literally like this space that doesn't have text on it. You don't want it to be too distracting with too many words and too many things to look at. You want to have the appropriate amount of white space. If you have too much white space, though, it shows a lack of experience. So you need to find that balance between too little and too much white space. Also, we want to keep it to just black text on white paper, no crazy pictures. The bolded headlines and subject lines. Those are important, but that's about as crazy as we need to get. And lastly, and importantly, these need to be one page only. So one page resume, it highlights your experience. It's your elevator pitch on paper. It should be quick and easy to navigate as a reader. If you are planning on going to grad school and you want to make a CV or a curriculum vitae, then that's fine with me for your assignment. I mean, that's fine. Let's talk about it because those are not one page. Those are multiple pages and have different components. But if you want to do a CV for your assignment, reach out to me via email and we'll work on that separately outside of this class. So again, big important point, one page. Make sure it's aesthetically pleasing, like it's pleasing to the eye, it's easy to read. Make sure you get the big stuff, the work experience, the education. If you don't have work experience, then talk about community activities that you've been involved in. Talk about what organizations you've been involved in. You can even, if you're having a hard time filling up this page, you might even consider your hobbies or any certifications that you might have in something else. So this is what you're doing for your assignment. You're creating one of these. We're going to move on to our cover letter next. So I'm going to stop this and then keep going.